Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here, Philly Take with RB, and you already know what to do. Go ahead and smash the like button for me. Hit the subscribe if you're new, and ding that notification bell so you're instantly notified whenever I upload or go live. Today, we are back just moments after I finished listening to Daryl Morey's introductory press conference with the Philadelphia 76ers. Our new president of basketball operations, the household name Daryl Morey, introduced today along with a panel of Josh Harris, Doc Rivers, Elton Brand. Just this morning, I put out on my community post about Daryl Morey coming out with a statement calling the Philadelphia fans legendary, and he started out this press conference the same way, the same type of energy. And first and foremost, I just got to say I was impressed. He seems like a very nice, respectful, humble guy, but at the same time, a guy who's going to come in, who's going to look at the books, who's going to look at the numbers and get to work and get things done. And I think just looking where we were at from months ago to where we are right now, it is sensational. Let me put up this graphic right here so you can see. I mean, this is crazy. This is real life. I still cannot believe it. I'm looking at this screen earlier and I'm just like, wow, this is actually real life. From Brett Brown to what we have right now in the matter of months has been sensational. The ownership group deserves a lot of credit, and I can't wait to see how these guys get to work and help develop the careers of guys like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and put this team in position to hopefully go out here and be in championship contention next season. Now, let's talk about this interview today. So Josh Harris came out, started talking about Daryl Morey. He says, you know, when the types of talents that were available, like Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey, were available, you have to capitalize quick, and that's exactly what they did. They did not hesitate. They hopped on, and in a matter of a week for both guys, I mean, they were both brought in, given interviews, talked and everything, and they were hired. And I think that's a great job. Maybe this is the redemption year of Josh Harris. Who knows? But then we get into Daryl Morey. He starts talking about a bunch of things. He got asked a lot of, I'd say, delightful questions. You know, nothing too scratching the surface. There were a few, and we'll talk about those. But Daryl Morey answered every question with class, and I really enjoyed it. He says, you know, working with legendary fans and a legendary franchise like Philly, it is his job to come in here, get it done, win us over. And boy, oh boy, I mean, this is the start of something new. This is what I have been waiting for. People who know what they are doing. He said it's going to be special here. He says when he used to go on the road in Philadelphia, he knew that there was the most passion in this fan. It's like, this is the place to be. And he's excited. He said that he couldn't even get Doc Rivers to interview in Houston because we have two young stars, ages 24 and 26. And Doc Rivers, he knew automatically he was going to take the Philly job. And it's crazy that now he ends up here working alongside him. He was asked about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. He says Joel Embiid is a dominant big man. He says Joel Embiid, if he was the coach of this team, or if he had a talent like a Joe, or even a talent like a Shaquille O'Neal, he said he would give them the ball 100 times. Like, you have to play in terms of how your assets are utilized. You have to play how your team is inclined to play. And I think he kind of hit on this point without directly saying it, but it almost seems like the whole debacle in Houston of trading away your center and going all small ball and shooting threes, that really seems like a Mike D'Antoni philosophy at this point. Now, I'm sure Daryl Morey had to get the pieces. He had to get it done, which he has shown he is valuable and capable of doing. But it seems like it was Mike D'Antoni's idea based off what Daryl was saying. He did not directly say it, but it was almost like he was hinting at, you know, he said, I'm going to delegate and leave it up to Doc how we want to play the game. And it's my job to get the right pieces in here and get that done. He says his plan was actually to take off time, but again, with Doc Rivers and Josh Harris now and all these guys, the Sixers were very adamant on getting him in here, and that's exactly what they did. He said we can go all the way with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. He loves having the idea of two young stars, and he says he really looks at the championship probability of a team. When he comes in, when he's hired to work in a place like he was in Houston, he likes to have a 1 to 3 year time window where he's trying to, you know, make advancements, improve the roster the best way he can. But I like how he says that it takes time to understand what you have. He says we have talent here that we have to develop. We have to see what, you know, the max possibilities, the max potential of these players here are before we can go out and make any moves. He says nothing's going to happen right away, but we have to get a better understanding of our roster. And I think we've been preaching that for a while, in that, you know, the Sixers have a lot of talent here, but they're not being used the right way. So I'm excited to see how that works. He says, the more you dig into the players here, the more you get excited about what our team can actually do. Kyle Newbeck from the Philly Voice asked a great question, says, in terms of the small ball, how, are you going to have any say? Is the owners going to have any say in how we play the game, like I just mentioned? And at the end of the day, Daryl Morey, with one of his best answers of the day, he said, you can never have the mentality of winning is my way or the highway. That will not win in a high-level organization. It has to be a culmination of everybody's ideas. It's about utilizing your roster and putting them in the best situations possible. And again, that's why it also makes me feel like Mike D'Antoni was the main culprit of the way they wanted to play in Houston, because Daryl Morey even said today, I quoted it down, he said, we don't need too many three-point shooters in the sense that we have to overload our whole team. No. We need guys who are going to win and who are going to fit Doc Rivers' system, and I absolutely agree. He said Doc's going to take our talent and use it to the best of our ability, so there's a lot of confidence in Doc Rivers. Elton Brand, like I said, was there. It almost seemed like Elton Brand, not that he wasn't interested, but, it's kind of a hard place to be when you have to sit in an opening interview with these guys, and Elton Brand pretty much has to come out here and say, you know what, well, Daryl Morey, this is what he said, quote unquote, he said, Daryl Morey, he's going to take the lead, I'm going to follow his lead, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be selfless, I'm going to try to win a championship here, and it has to be everybody involved together, and I agree with that. Even Josh Harris was asked a question about if the owners get too involved with the players, how that kind of relationships, or how those kind of relationships develop, and he kind of tried to play that off and say, you know what, I don't even believe the premise of what you're saying, but at the end of the day, we're going to let Daryl take the realm, we're going to let Daryl do what he needs to do, and we're kind of going to keep our nose out of it. I don't know if it's true, I'll believe it when I see it, but at the end of the day, it's good to at least hear them saying that. Daryl Morey was then asked further questions about free agency and the draft and trades, and he says, I don't think our championship team is going to look exactly the same as it is right now. We have guys on this team who can be a part of a championship caliber team. We have guys who can play above what they have been playing above the last couple years. But at the end of the day, trades are going to be made, guys are going to be picked up, and he didn't technically say that Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid won't be traded, but he did hint at the fact that these are two young superstars. Pretty much they will be here, and we definitely need to at least give them a year or two to see how they can evolve under a guy like Doc Rivers. He even talked about the draft. They said, they've never had a lot of draft picks over the last couple years in Houston, and he said, well, even this year without a pick, they've been constantly studying and going through the motions because they might have been, in line to trade up for a pick. They might go in to the back of the second round. So Daryl Morey has been doing work. He says Elton Brand has been studying very hard. Daryl Morey says, they have plenty of meetings lined up, 10-hour meetings day after day. They're going to put in a lot of hard work and get this done. Elton Brand even, mentioned something funny. He said, we had to sell Doc and Daryl on the process. He even used the word process, which I thought was actually pretty funny. But overall, Daryl says we got to really take a long, hard look at our roster and kind of compare it, align it to how other championship teams have developed and kind of, fall in their same footsteps. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I will note that Daryl Morey did go out and explicitly state, though, for what he could, it's his first day on the job. Guys are hammering him with questions about personnel. It's hard to answer that. But of course, they're going to come in from the Philly media. But Daryl Morey did say that Ben and Joe can absolutely work together. And at the end of the day, Doc Rivers backs him up by saying, we need to take away this narrative that Ben and Joe can't play together. And I absolutely agree. They've won 65% of their games together. I only expect that to improve under a solidified head coach who understands the ins and outs of the game like a Doc Rivers. The one thing I was a little bit questionable and skeptical about was when Daryl Morey highlighted the fact that the Sixers are going to use tons and tons and tons of data, in addition to aligning, solid personnel with that data. But one thing I will just say is we have to be careful given the fact of last year and the years before. We fired some of these analytics people in the department. Maybe they just weren't getting the job done, and we have others who are going to come in, better basketball minds, as we would say. But the Sixers do have to be careful. Maybe that's what works for Daryl Morey. Maybe that's what works for some of these other experienced professionals around the league. But at the end of the day, data isn't everything in my mind. We still have to go out and evaluate our talent. But I expect the individuals in this organization to be able to go out and get that done. So we're going to see how that goes, but I don't want to make decisions strictly off data. Now, of course, Daryl Morey had to get the nice warm welcome from Howard Eskin. If you guys don't know who Howard Eskin is, one of those reporters who's very bold and very, makes those big statements that kind of try to get under your skin a little bit and get you to say something you might not want to. But I think Morey handled it with class and ease, and I loved what he said. Howard Eskin's pretty much said, Joel Embiid has been out of shape since, he's gotten here. Ben Simmons still won't shoot a 15-foot jump shot. Tobias and Al Horford, all these guys have issues that are underlying. And Daryl Morey, you coming in here on your first day have to say the politically correct things. But at the end of the day, do you believe we can get it done without having to move one of these guys? And that's kind of when he answered about having the 2 stars at a young age who we believe in. But overall, he just said, I like how Daryl Morey turned it on him. He said, do I have to say nice things about you as well? And I thought that was really funny. But Daryl Morey just going back and forth, just some friendly trash talk with a guy like Howard Eskin. But at the end of the day, Daryl Morey knows what's coming to him. He understands the environment of Philadelphia. He spoke well to it. Philadelphia 76ers have done a complete overhaul of their organization, of their franchise, and I only think that this signals good things to come. This is positive. Even if it doesn't work immediately, I think the next couple years you're going to start to see a nice, strong foundation built, and that is exactly what we need. We need guys like Daryl Morey who are going to come out here and answer questions the way he did, just hitting them directly, nothing hiding. You're going to need guys like Doc Rivers who are going to come out here and hold guys accountable every single night, and I absolutely love what I'm hearing. And at the end of the day, we have the season coming up in a few months. We have the draft in a few weeks. We have free agency coming up. We might see a couple trades. I want to see Joe and Ben develop their games under a real head coach like Doc Rivers. And at the end of the day, with the people that are now in position to make these big time decisions, I would expect a lot of improvements. I would expect a lot of positives to come out from this organization. You're finally going to see fluidity in the structure of this organization, which is something we have been craving. This Sixers team is heading in the right direction. They are finally trending upwards, and we have the right people in here now. All we got to do is execute and get it done. But with that being said, you guys let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.